Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, my phone was taking forever to connect to the internet, but today we are talking about something that, as you can imagine, is very important. I feel like I start all my calls with, or my topics, videos with, this is very important, but it is. We're talking about habits again. And, I was thinking about this. We have been talking about habits from the beginning. We started with the 5 habits. And I think a lot of times when people sign up for this, they are very excited about the workouts. And they are very excited about the nutrition piece of it. But I can give you all of the workouts in the world. I could give you a meal plan and the best macro profile for your body. But if you don't do anything with it, what good is it? And what's going to make you follow those workouts, hit the macros, or do the meal plan? It's your habits. So in order for any of this to work, we have to have our habits dialed in. And today I'm going to talk about, how to harness that power. Again, why it is so important and what can you do to start to change your habits. Because what we can't just stop doing things. Like we know we should stop snacking before dinner. We know we should stop, maybe drinking quite so much. There's a lot of things we should not do, and we know that, but we need to know how to stop doing that. And honestly, it's not about stopping doing it, and I'll get into that here in just a second. And if you had a chance, which I hope you did, to watch Lee Ann's video on her transition, on how she made the switch. That's powerful stuff, right? She is not the same person she was 5 years ago. And I had a couple light bulbs go off this weekend when I was with my friends and we were sitting around waiting for dinner, just, playing a game. And there were chips and guacamole and salsa right there in the middle of the table. I honestly had no desire to eat the chips. And it helps that I don't like guacamole, but I like salsa. Who doesn't like chips and salsa? And my friend was like, Kylie, are you really that disciplined that you're not even tempted? And honestly, it's not a matter of discipline. That's not my habit anymore. I knew we were going to be eating dinner, and I'm not like saying I'm the best in the world, but that was a huge shift for me, like to even recognize, holy shit, I'm not even interested in these chips and salsa. And it's not because I'm not hungry. I wasn't like totally hungry. Again, that's one of our ways that we, prevent mindless snacking. But I wanted my dinner. I know that the dinner is more important. So you too can make that switch. You too can change. And the other day when I asked you, what were your biggest changes? I was just like reading those things off to my husband. I was like, listen to this, Pat, and then listen to this. Like, you guys have so much to be proud of already, and we're just going to continue because maybe there's some other things that aren't even nutrition related that you'd like to change, and you need a little, help in doing so. So habits, we have good habits and we have bad habits, right? Brushing your teeth is a good habit. Meal prep is a good habit. Going to work out is a good habit. Falling asleep on the couch, that's my bad habit. Snacking, potentially a mindless snacking, is a bad habit. Smoking would be a bad habit. And, the reason we have habits is so that we don't have to think so much. Habits are a good thing because they allow us to be on autopilot. We don't want to have to constantly be making decision after decision after decision because we reach this thing called decision fatigue. And at the end of the day, our decisions are poor. And if you are interested in this, I have research that I can share with you. They have done studies. Just one quick glimpse into this. Judges in the judicial system, you do not want to be on trial at the end of the day. And you do not want to be on trial when that judge is hungry. Because judges are not thinking clearly. Those Snicker commercials? You're not yourself when you're hungry? Well, even judges aren't. People who are supposed to be making right and wrong decisions for other people make poor decisions when they are tired, when they are hungry, when they've already been making decisions all day long. So you are no different than that. But habits, not all habits are bad, right? They help us make quick decisions. I'm not downplaying habits. Have you seen that movie Blink or read the book, right? Sometimes we have to rely on our previous experiences, on not, I don't want to say prejudices, but let's say past experiences, so we can make those quick decisions. based on information that we already know. We don't want to constantly be thinking is the point. And that's why it's important to have our good habits drilled in, and that we can become aware of our less desirable habits. And it's not just things you are doing. And this is something really powerful that came out of the latest book that I read. When I first gave this talk, I had just read The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I recommend this read to any and everybody. The Power of Habit. I'll post a link to it down below. But then I also got done reading a couple days ago, last week, The Wisdom in Our Cells. And this is all about these thoughts that we have in our subconscious mind. So you need to get really clear on what are these habitual thoughts that you're having, because no lie, your thoughts are creating your reality. Whether you like it or not, whether you're thinking good thoughts or bad thoughts, your thoughts are creating your reality. So if you're constantly saying to yourself, I'm never going to be able to do this, I'm a failure, I have zero willpower, anything negative, if that's running in a loop in the back of your mind, you're right? Like I said the other day, I've been reading a lot of books, you guys. You're wired to win. Those aren't my words. That's the author of F Yourself. And you are wired to win, meaning whatever you're thinking, you are going to win at. So if you think about it like that, like to me, that's very motivating in order to really wrap your brain around, what am I thinking about? What am I doing? And where can I change? And honestly, how can I do it? So habits are more powerful than willpower because of this whole decision fatigue thing. You know, you might have all the willpower in the world, but once it gets to the end of the day, you're tired, you're hungry, you're going to eat ice cream. You're going to stop at fast food on the way home just because you don't have anything left to give. You can't make another decision. So, we do sometimes just what we have to do. And what's more important than, constantly making the good decisions is having or replacing that bad habit with a good one. So let's think about the work environment. This is actually an example from The Power of Habit. If at 3:00 you're at your office job and every day that's when you go to the vending machine, you know you want to stop this, but for some reason you can't. It's like you are watching yourself from above and you're like, don't go to the vending machine, don't go to the vending machine, don't go to the vending machine. But as you're saying that to yourself, you're getting up, you're getting your change, you're walking down, and you're going to the vending machine simply because that's what you do. So what do you need to do in that situation? You need to ask yourself a couple things. What else can I do? And why am I doing this? Am I bored? Am I actually hungry? Am I craving some interaction with other people? Do I just need to move my body? When you ask yourself those things, am I actually hungry? Okay, let's bring our own snack from home. We can still get up from our desk, walk around like we're going to the vending machine, but we're going to have a wiser choice, a more loving choice, a more self-compassionate choice. Do I just need to move? Get up and out of your desk. Take a walk around the office, get your movement, talk to your friends without spending money and without stopping at the vending machine. Or the other thing is like, am I craving human interaction? I know how it is when you're behind your computer all day and you're like, gosh, I have not talked to anybody all day long. Maybe you do need to go down to accounting and talk to Barb and Nancy and see how they're doing. What's their day like? If you need some human interaction, do that. Maybe you don't want to talk to anybody in your office. Pick up the phone, call your friend, call your spouse, check in with your Facebook group, right? Start to really notice what is driving those behaviors and what is it that you really, really want. And if you think about an alcoholic, and I think I've used this example before, alcoholics are not drinking to get drunk necessarily, right? They're drinking for some other reason, and we need to figure out what that reason is and learn how to fill that void in a healthier way. So we have habits of thoughts, talked about that, feelings and emotions, physical sensations, and behaviors. All of these areas can be pre-wired with ingrained patterns. So just like how we know how to eat and we can go to a dinner party and we can talk to our friends, we don't have to think about that anymore. We can eat and then carry on a conversation. Use that part of our brain that would normally tell us to pick up your fork, stick the chicken with your fork, bring the fork to your mouth, and then chew. We don't have to think about that anymore, so that frees up the space so we can have this great conversation with people. So the way that we eat is a habit. Our habits, as I mentioned, can be more powerful than our conscious thought or willpower. And for all those reasons I just mentioned, because willpower wears out and we have decision fatigue. Now, again, to recap, we can use our habits for positive or negative ends. We have good habits and we have bad habits. And we don't really want to stop our bad habits, but we want to replace our quote unquote bad habits with good habits. And how do we do that? By going through that exercise I talked about. Noticing, what am I actually doing? Why am I doing it? So going through that noticing and naming exercise. I believe a week and a half ago, I posted the behavior awareness worksheet. If you have not had a chance to look at that, I do not expect anybody to actually do it. If you do it, you get a gold star. But you're going to see what kind of thought process you should go through when you're going through a habit that's not so desirable. Something that you need to change. You're going to become really clear on why it is that you're doing it, before, after, during. And you're going to notice some patterns. And once you notice those things, then you can change them. And to reiterate, when we are noticing and when we are naming, we are not doing this with judgment. We are not saying I'm a good person, I'm a bad person. It's just, oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting feedback. I mean, I'm sure, like, if you were to go to therapy, your therapist is going to say, that's very bad. Bad job, Kylie. No, that's exactly what they're going to say. They're going to say, well, that's interesting. How's that working for you? And then you're going to talk some more and you're going to figure stuff out on your own. So let's talk about the principles of our habits really quickly, and then I'll wrap this up. Habits are a sequence of feelings, thoughts, and behaviors that are automatic. Habits are usually supported by social and/or our physical environment. So you see how important it is that our environment is supporting our decisions. I'll talk about my weekend again. If one of us had wanted to go get ice cream, other people would have wanted to do it too. So it's like your habits are only as strong as your weakest link. You see what I'm saying there? One person can shift the entire energy in your group. So be mindful of who you're hanging out with and what kind of things you guys like to do. Maybe you need to change your circle of friends for a while, or see if you can get your friends on board with your healthy habits. Habits are often much stronger than conscious thought or willpower. We covered that a lot. Habits are designed to make cognition more efficient. They're meant to be shortcuts. We want shortcuts because of our decision fatigue. Habits often want to make us feel more safe, secure, and avoid discomfort and distress. And then finally, habits can be both good and bad. So I'm going to post a couple things in the comments, a couple videos and book recommendations. I've done a lot of research on habits this year because it really is, it's the only way that you're truly going to change for good. And you've heard Leanne talk about it. You recently heard myself talk about it, and you're probably seeing it in yourself. I can give you the most amazing workouts in the world. I can give you a meal plan and macros that are to die for. But if you're not going to follow through and you're not actually going to do it for the long term, what's the point? You're not changing. So I want you to focus on changing your habits. And I feel like you all are doing a really, really great job of that. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. Let's see those macros tonight. Let's see as many as we can. And I got to do a drawing to see who's going to get that Lululemon gift card from Friday. So exciting day ahead. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be talking to you very soon.